সেই সময়কার একটা দুঃখই খুব ছিল, আমি খুব চিন্তাতে ভাবনায় চিন্তাতে ছিল, একটা চিন্তা দুঃখতে ছিল। তো আমার মেয়ের একটা পোলিও হয়ে গেলে জিন্দিগি বেকার হয়ে যাবে। পোলিও ভালো শুনেছি, পোলিও হলে ভালো হয় না জীবনে।
There was talk of it being a pipe dream. Polio cannot be eradicated. You are looking at 500 cases a day in a country and you're saying eradicate the disease. But finally, Rotary managed to convince or persuade the Health Minister of Delhi in the year 1994. And seeing the massive success of that, the Government of India agreed to supplementary immunization, which then started from 1995 in the form of NIDs and later SNIDs.
एक भी बच्चा छूट गया, सुरक्षा चक्र टूट गया। 4 नवंबर पोलियो दिवस, 4 नवंबर पोलियो दिवस।
What is remarkable about India's National Immunization Day is the unprecedented scale of activity. Every child is immunized that day, and wherever they are we find them, be on trains or in boats or on roads or in brick kilns. So wherever they are, every child is immunized that day, and clearly we need a huge sort of force of vaccinators and volunteers to do that. So this is a huge activity.
Each of the agency, including the government, is absolutely aware of its role and what they're supposed to do. The government looks after the operational aspect. The National Polio Surveillance Program looks after the surveillance. UNICEF and CORE do the social mobilization. So Rotary does advocacy and materials and incentives for booths. So I think role clarity has been the main thing behind the success of the program.
अब की बार अगर ये लोग नहीं गए
जाएंगे सर, जरूर जाएंगे।
आप प्लीज अपने बच्चों को बूथ पर ले जाकर पोलियो की ड्रॉप्स पिला दीजिए।
2 बूंद जिंदगी के,
2 बूंद जिंदगी की पिलाएं। हर बच्चा हर बार।
Development of very specific strategies has been one of the key successes in India, because for every problem that was encountered, a very specific strategy was developed.
मैं आई हूँ यहाँ, पोलियो रविवार आने वाला है, मैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बताना चाह रही हूँ। ये अमन है।
The women we selected were from those communities. These were educated women who had already the respect, who spoke the local dialect, who had the trust of the community, who can actually move from house to house. I think that's been a key success, because you cannot just enter a house and then talk to somebody. It has to be a dialogue, and that dialogue can only be established if you are known within the community.
Every newborn that was identified and vaccinated by the polio vaccination teams was tracked for the next 8 campaigns, so that by the time the child reached the age of 1 year, it had received 8 to 10 doses of oral polio vaccine.
जो अंदेशे थे, शुबहात थे लोगों के, वो ये थे कि आखिर इस दवा में कोई न कोई ऐसी चीज़ ज़रूर मिलाई गई है जो नाजायज़ है। दूसरा शुबा ये था कि ऐसी दवा है जो बाज़ाब्ता तौर पर नसबंदी का एक प्लान है।
और अगर 1 साल और ये साहब आपका प्रोग्राम है, ये हमारा प्रोग्राम नहीं, ये मीटिंग इसीलिए होती है कि आप आके यहाँ पर कुछ बात कर सकें।
जब भी अभियान चले उसमें हर शहरी का फ़र्ज़ है अपने बच्चों को ज़रूर पोलियो ड्रॉप पिलाएं। इस पोलियो के ख़त्म करने के लिए पोलियो ड्रॉप ज़रूर पिलाएं।
The Kosi River area was acting as a sanctuary for the polio virus in India. A special plan was put in place. As a part of this plan, there were satellite offices and night stay points that were set up between these rivulets, and the medical officers and the supervisors were able to stay there, spend a few nights there, plan the program from there, supervise the program, and make sure that the children that were remaining unvaccinated earlier actually got the vaccine.
The gains of 107 block plan, I think, have been sort of huge, because one is that it demonstrated to us that if you are able to first disaggregate your data and actually identify where your challenge is the most formidable, then you are actually able to sharpen your tools much better.
It has been a long way to go, so there have been various milestones which have been critical in turning, but if I pick one, that would be certainly introduction of bivalent oral polio vaccine in 2010. And while the monovalent polio vaccine, which was introduced in 2005, has also made a great impact, I think the bivalent has made a real turning point.
I think India and the Indian government has proven everybody wrong, saying that if we can do it in India, it can be done everywhere, because India has all the problems which you face in other areas. As such, this has really instilled a lot of confidence in the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, saying, listen, if India can do it, we can all do it together.
आज रविवार पोलियो खाइएছো?
खाते जाबो।
खाते जाबो ना एक कुनी जे खाइएছো।
We do hope that Rukhsar remains our last child to be afflicted by polio. Our whole challenge now is to continue to tell the community that we have won the battle, but the war is not over. So our whole effort now is focused on making sure that our children, get immunized fully, and because unless we do that, we won't be able to secure the gains of polio immunization, and that is where we are putting our entire effort.